might be on East Coast time, so I think she's kind of logged off.
Okay.
So no worries at all. Are you good to go for an additional 10 minutes past?
Yep.
5, whatever time zone you're in? Is that okay? Okay, cool, me too. Sweet, okay, so we'll just start from now then.
Okay.
Cool, I'm glad. I see you're on CoderPad. Cool. Okay, cool. So we're just going to jump in. I'll give you a little bit of intro on myself, and then we're going to jump kind of quickly into the technical problem, which will all be done on CoderPad. Have you used CoderPad before?
Yeah, I have.
Okay, sweet. So you can run it. I'll be able to see the output. I'll be able to see like where your cursor is on the actual code, but not the output. So anyway, I'll be able to follow on pretty well. So we're going to run this on CoderPad. It's a technical problem. It has multiple pieces, but not looking for total completeness, just looking for how you work through it. I'd love to hear what you're thinking as you work through it. You're free to Google whatever you need to. You're free to ask me whatever you need to.
Okay.
So before we jump in, just a little background. So I'm a senior firmware engineer for the past 3.5 years. I work with the vehicle data platform team working on our vehicle gateways. So I don't have the most information about the full stack side of things, but I'd be happy to answer any questions at the end. So before we jump in, anything you want to get out of the way up front? Otherwise, we'll leave it for the end.
Yeah, everything sounds pretty good to me.
Cool. Okay, so we're gonna abruptly get into the problem, and then when time's up, we're gonna kind of abruptly jump out of it. So I apologize if it feels a little frantic here. So we are gonna be building a Markdown processor. So this problem is basically ultimately gonna generate valid HTML. So I'm gonna give you some input and the desired output. You're gonna process the input to produce the output. And I'm gonna give you, it's gonna be a little bit of a wall of text to start. Do you know which language you're gonna use?
I'm gonna go with Python.
Okay, sweet. Let's just select that. Cool. So this is kind of the high level instructions. I'll let you read through that in a second, but I am also going to give you the Python specific input and output that we're looking for. So give me a second here. I'm going to go through it very quickly, and then I'm just going to let you read and go for it. So what you'll see, did I get the right one? Yeah, what you're going to see is some input, and we're going to produce the output with the relevant HTML tags. The things we're looking for are paragraph tags, line breaks, block quotes, and delete tags. So it kind of lays out the rules there. You can also see it in the input versus the output. So I'll let you go ahead and read through all that. And like I said, I'll be here to answer questions.
All right, sounds good. I'm not a processor capable of handling a multitude of string to HTML tag format. For now, we just focus on paragraph, break, block quote, alt tags, sequence of 2 or more consecutive newline characters starting from the formatting commands in across paragraphs. Sync a newline character to a soft line break. A block quote is 1 or more consecutive lines of the first. Text instruct through surrounded by 2 tildes. Okay, so this is a paragraph with a soft line break. This is another paragraph that has break. Break. Paragraph, another paragraph with a strike through. Strike through word. If we have. It's a paragraph. Okay, so I think this makes sense. No, it's not point to put specific output with QFH. All right, so I read through the description and the example. I'm essentially just taking different line breaks and characters in Python and converting them to HTML. I'm going to write the function at a high level. So define Markdown. It's going to take in some input. I'll do parse for now. I'm also going to want some define convert Python char to Markdown. And here I'm going to take, is where I'm going to handle the different cases for all the possible conversions that we support. So char to convert parse. What else do I want to handle? See, it's a paragraph, soft line break. Okay, so I guess let me start with all the cases. So what do we support? A sequence of 2 or more consecutive new line characters starts a new paragraph. All right, so char to convert, how do I say? So if char to convert is equal to essentially 2 new line characters. So I don't exactly know if this is how it's represented in Python, but I'm going to just put down into words what I think right away. Okay. And then when I test it, I'll update as necessary.
Yeah, fair enough.
So I'm going to write comments as well so I know which cases I'm handling. Let me just copy and paste all of this down here. So sequence of 2 or more continuous starts a new paragraph. So for that, I'll say return. How do I do it? So they take the text and they wrap it inside the break. Or they wrap it inside these p tags. Okay, so this is a paragraph, the new line break. Okay, so I'm going to have to know what the start and end is for each of these. So that might be another helper function. So define, let's say decorate text. Text.
When you say start and end, what do you mean?
Which part?
Oh, where it is in the string. Got it.
Yeah, exactly. And do pass for now. and convert jar to Markdown. All right, so if that's good to that, I want to return this. I know I'm going to have to wrap it later, but for now, just put this down so I remember what I need to return. Where is it? P/P? Yeah. So other format kind do not cross. I can put that at the bottom. It's going to be edge cases. Has single new line characters of soft line break. With characters equal to a single new line. Return this line break. Then block quotes. Block quote is one or more consecutive lines where the first two characters in the line are that's greater than sign followed by space. Okay, where is that? Let's see. What does that example look like? Okay, so is this some text? Another paragraph that has, so you put a break right there, a block quote, some text that's, okay, so should be, so similar to the previous one, I want to wrap at text in tags. Right here, and then char to convert goes to turn quotes, open, block quote, close, to wrap text in tags. Then what was the next one? Strike through. Say lf char to convert is equal to two tildes and return use dells. Similarly, do wrap text in tags. Other formatting commands do not cross paragraphs. Can you explain the last point? Other formatting commands do not cross paragraphs.
Let's see. Oh, other formatting commands. Okay, so if there were a like a strike through that was open in one paragraph and then we start a new paragraph, you couldn't close it in the next one.
Okay.
But we can assume the input's valid.
Okay.
Yeah, so I wouldn't put too much weight in that.
It's assumed to be valid. There. So I'll come back to this helper function later to clean this up. So convert Python char to Markdown. And then I'll do the same with decorate text. But for now, so for the Markdown parser, so I'm going to be given this text. I'm going to iterate through. Let me see. This is a paragraph of soft line break. So I know if I split on a new line, that'll give me all the soft line breaks. But how would I get the new paragraphs? Let me think. That's two new lines. If I split on new line, does it split both new lines? Let me do a quick test. In Python. Go to the bottom. Test string equals test.
You're talking about the single new line versus the double, or what are you testing
because if I do a split on the string, it'll tell me that this is a paragraph with A, that's one part in the list, and then soft is another part. So that'll tell me right away that there's a soft line break, but I don't know if it'll give me an extra new line to separate the paragraphs.
Cool. Yep.
So I want to quickly test that and see what it gives me. Print test string dot split and new line, and see what that gives me. Oh, I forget. Oh yeah, let's pass. Okay, this is a paragraph with a new line break. Okay, nice. So it does give me that extra mark. Okay, awesome. So I do a Markdown parser. So let me see. If I split this, a new line, it'll give me this is a paragraph with A. Then it's giving me soft, and it gives me actually. Oh yeah, that's all part of it. Yeah, new line break. It's good. Empty test string, and then split. All right. Yeah. All right. So if I get that split, let me say split Markdown input equals to Markdown input dot split on new line character that. Sir. What was it? Markdown input. All right, so this is a paragraph with soft. right, so it's a soft break. Then we have a paragraph that has, and then soft break, some text, soft break. Okay, so that covers all the soft breaks. So let me take care of those first. So if I have that, so I iterate through this. If I see an empty line, then I know that should be a new paragraph. Okay, and if I see an empty, I know that would just be a soft line break. Line break, and expert output will show that soft. Okay, so anywhere, so I can want to join it. Yeah, so I take soft, I join that with this, and join that with line. Okay, so that should work. So decorate. Let me see. So if so join, how many breaks are there? There's not soft break, that break, that break. So join text. Join text else. Break. Else. Join. That's it. Let's have line break. So the paragraph starts at this is a paragraph with a soft line break, and then you get to empty, and you wrap that in a paragraph. Then this is another paragraph that has some text. It's in block quotes, everything up to block quotes. Yeah, that's in a paragraph. All right, so everything up until the empty line gets wrapped in a paragraph. So let's see. Join those, join everything up to empty with paragraph. So let me try that first to see if that's working. So let's start with that. Okay, so let me say parsed down. Let's do empty. Return parse markdown. So let's see for it always starts with, and we assume the output always starts with a new paragraph.
Correct, yeah. Right. And it's always going to end on a closing paragraph tag.
All right. So MTP. So then the paragraph, and you say for item in split markdown input. Okay, let's see. Just a paragraph with a soft line break. I'm gonna add that. You're gonna add that. You're gonna add that until you get to that, and then you want to add that at the end. So parse markdown dot. I think it's join. Can I quickly check the documentation for join?
What's that?
Can I quickly check the documentation for join?
Quickly, what? I can't hear you too well.
Yeah, can I quickly check the documentation for join?
Oh yeah, function? You can do. Yeah, please.
Okay. So Python join. Give that. You have a list of these. You join on that. Okay, so that's how you do it. So take this. This is a paragraph with a soft line break. Okay, this is a paragraph with a soft line break. So let me say they join. I only want everything up to the first index. Okay, right. So I have to get it by index for index in range. Then this. Then say if split markdown input index is equal to, and what is it? The empty line. It's equal to that. And so parse markdown. Equals to join everything up until that index. Everything up until that index. So it's 0 all the way up to that, or not 0. Let's see. Previous index equals to 0. Index all the way to index, and then you want to add that at the end. Let's say parse close p. And also when I say previous index is now equals to index. So you go through, you set that to new index, you go through again, and you do everything from previous index all the way to index. So let me just quickly see what that looks like. So print markdown parser. Yeah. All right, so it's in a paragraph then with a soft that has. Okay, so it's skipping the first line. Let's see. And I get that parse markdown equals to that joined by that. Oh, because I'm overriding that. That's why. Okay, how do I want to address that? Let me see. Everything up to that. Parse equals to best. That's say parse parts and that looks like. So this is part of the soft line break. This is a part of the soft line break, and then there's another paragraph that has some text in a block quote. It's another paragraph. Okay, so it's missing the last line in the beginning.
Yeah, we expect the opening p tag at this point, right?
Yeah. So parse markdown plus equals to parse markdown equals to this. Oh yeah, because I'm overriding it here. So parse markdown plus equals to it. Come on. Join split markdown that. Let me just put it at the front. You want to append each case. Then plus parse markdown. Okay, so you have the p at the front. I have to strip that thing to the left. So I think it's L strip. So parse markdown that L strip. Yeah, so that get rid of that. All right, so you have this is a paragraph with a soft line break. Okay, P's are good, and then you have this is another paragraph that has some text that is in a block quote.
And then we're missing that last paragraph.
Yeah, so I'm guessing in my for loop, indexing range up until the split mark index.
Oh yeah, because you have that empty line. Oh, that should be okay. You have that after line break. You have that empty new line.
Yeah. Let's see, because I know sometimes when I iterate with the range, it might forget the last entry in it. Let me see, so now paragraph that's struck through. Okay, so now paragraph that's struck through word. So it's right here. It's not getting added in. So let's see what's happening to that. 13 is 2, 27, 8. Okay. Don't tell me it's off by one error. Yep, it was off by one error, of course. So always gets me. So this is a paragraph. Paragraph is good. That's good. It's another paragraph with strike through. All right, yeah, that was good. So now I can go through and apply the other decorations. All right, so what's next? So this is a part of the soft line break and how to handle soft line breaks. So soft line breaks is soft and line. Okay, so it's the cases where the items are separate. So the first element, second element need to be joined with, what is it, the break? BR, yeah, so I need to join those with breaks. So before I get to this, so handle new lines. Let's say handle soft line breaks. So I want to handle that. Just join that with that. Go through and join all of those on breaks. So let's say split markdown input. Yeah, the split markdown input equals to BR join input. So let's see what that gives me. This one off. That one out. This one in. Let me see what that gives me. All right, so it gives me, this is a paragraph with a soft. Okay, looks good. So this is a paragraph with a soft. Yep, line break. And then there's a case where you don't want the breaks because I have a paragraph there. So this is the annoying edge case. Because the empty strings shouldn't trigger the break. It should just trigger the new paragraph. So how do I want to address that? For this. Actually, instead of doing all this drawing, it might be easier to just go through the number line. So for index in range. All right, I already have it right here. See if I can handle using the same for loop. So handle, say, white space. And handle new line. Or handle soft line breaks. So if you're going through, iterating through, if split index is equal to that, then you want to do that. Otherwise, index in range that at the end of each line. So I'm going to say else. So if it's not that, I just want to. So I want to handle soft line break. If it's not an empty string, then you're moving on to a new line. So you just want to add this break between them. So where's my append? So parse parts. Let's say handle soft line break. Parse parts. Append. So I'm going to take what's there. Just wait to get to that. Index in range until that split index. Append. Forward side, which is also going to connect to the indentation. Sorry. I think that's off the indentation. Wait, no. It should be. Where is. Okay, where was that? You're not. For loop. Oh, I see. That's at the end. That's why. So you take that, you do that, you do that. Oh, yeah, that's at the end. That's why I was throwing you off and move that down. I'll turn this off and break. Let's see what this is parts now. Okay, so for that break. Alright, so that's way too many breaks. So what are the cases that this could be an empty line? This could be for index starts at It's a paragraph with a soft line break. So each of those should be joined with a break. You don't want to be joined with a break in the case where you want a new line. So I don't want to address that. Paragraph with a soft break. Soft line break. Maybe an empty line. All empty line gets replaced with. I wonder if there's a way for me to join this list and skip over all the empty lines, because that would be the best. Is there a way to do that? Join all the lines, skip the empty. Because if you don't skip the empty, it's going to join those together. So paragraph with a soft line break. On P and the new line for index in range. X equals to P. If you have this paragraph with a soft line break. Let me try to copy this separately. String 2 equals to. So if you have this paragraph with a soft line break, an empty line, then expected should be this paragraph. Join those together. Keep the empty.
Okay, sorry to interrupt. I wanted to do like a 5-ish minute warning here.
Okay. Paragraph with a soft line break. So how can you join these? I think there's a way to join them for that. That is equal to empty. If it's not, then join the first two. Say string 0. Range unplan of string 2. If string 2 index not string 2 index is equal to that, and join them together. Say string and test string. You want the previous actually, so this index 0. So join the string 2 from previous index all the way up to index. You join those previous strings, and then previous index will be equal to index. Actually, when I keep incrementing, it's previous index will equals to 1. Keep incrementing. Print join strings. And then to block 168. Oh, yeah, that's. This is a paragraph with a soft. It's not going to line break find range until it should be 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, so I put that to 1, it should be 0.
By the way, I forgot we started late, so you have about 10 more minutes. Sorry to.
Okay.
I misread that.
If not, test string 2 is equal to that. I want to say join strings at append. Let me figure out what this is. So this is a paragraph with a soft, then line break, then empty, it's another paragraph. So this join string, append, join, test string 2, all the way up. So it's, if that's a 0, and that's 1, you'll just take index up to that. Say join string equals to. Yeah, the join string is always empty, so that means something's wrong with the join function. Which means, let me see what this is. Previous index, right, so that's an empty. Okay, it's good to know. So let's see what this is. Previous index. Next. Okay, so 0, 0, 1, 1. There we go. So I didn't need to start at 1. So 0, 1, then you have 0, 1, that's empty, so you skip that. Okay, so this is a paragraph with a soft line. It's a paragraph with a soft, and then line break is missing. And then you have empty, and it's another paragraph. So let's figure out what happens to line break. So 0, 1, it takes 0, I think it's index plus 1. Yep, so this is a paragraph with a soft line break. Paragraph with a soft line break, and then you have, it should be empty. The paragraph that has, so another paragraph that has, another paragraph that has. All right, so what's the issue here? So it's a paragraph soft line break. Place all Actually, I probably could have used the replace function. So if you have that empty with the new line, if I see what's that, and new line, the paragraph, that's equal to that with a line break. Okay.
So at this point, let's, instead of implementing the changes, let's just talk through what the next couple steps are here.
Okay.
Because the output's getting a little, I'm following along, but I just want to make sure, you know, you can articulate what your next couple steps would be. Yeah, why don't you go ahead and just talk me through it.
Yeah, so the bug I was trying to address is in cases where after splitting on the new line, you have the empty spaces, which you want to wrap the previous set of list with a paragraph tag, but you have the case where each individual list needs to be wrapped with a soft line break.
Mhm.
But wrapping with the new line would ignore that. So what I would have wanted to address is getting the soft line breaks in before wrapping with the new lines. And then from there, I would just handle the block quotes and the strike through.
So looking at block quotes and strike through, I mean, I know that's not where your focus was, but anything jump out to you? Something like any, let's look at strike through in particular.
Strike through is the easiest because if I split on the new line, it'll just give me the whole string with the 2 tildes at the front and the 2 tildes at the end. So I would just need to replace the first 2 with the del tag and then replace the last 2 with the close and del tag. And
then to keep track of which one's the first set versus the second, how might you do that?
When you say the first set versus the second?
Like when you say keep track of when you see the first couple tildes, like the opening tag?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're parsing the string, you see the double tildes. How do you know if that's the opening or closing?
Because I already split on the new line, so the tech, whatever character or token I get would always have the 2 at the front and the 2 at the end. Because I split on the new line. So the list would contain the whole thing with the 2 tildes at the front and the end.
So let's say you're, okay, so you have that, you're on the new line, so you have the full string that you're now going through, and within that string, there's the strike through word.
Yeah.
So let's say you're parsing that string and you come across, let's say you're splitting, are you going to split it by the tilde or are you going to go character by character?
What do you mean?
Like, how would you first identify the tilde?
It's at the beginning of the string.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So you'd split that. Okay.
Yeah.
So you would just know that at the beginning,
yeah,
you would have the delete tag and then at that. Got it.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Sweet. So this is the abrupt end now. I'm just going to go ahead and end the CoderPad session. Before we hopped off, I wanted to ask you if you had any questions for me about or anything. Anything on your mind at this point?
Yep. So I'm curious what brought you to in the first place.
Sure. Yeah. At the time why I chose in the first place, make sure I heard you correctly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cool. Yeah. At the time, I had interviewed at one other small startup, and I'd gotten an offer from them, and I was still in the middle of the interview process. And then I went on site, kind of treating it kind of like a backup. and seeing the office and just seeing how cool everyone was, it was like very exciting to me. I didn't really think too hard or research too hard about what even was doing.
Yeah.
I was just so into like the atmosphere and the people. So at the time I chose it just because it seemed like a really good, positive environment to work at. And then I'm still here because I think the company is being led very effectively. I think our CEO is awesome. We hire the right people, very feedback oriented, both from customers and employees. So I feel like, my voice is being heard. And there's just a lot of fun challenges. The company's doing well too, especially during these special economic times. It's nice to work somewhere where we're continuing to grow. So yeah, very, very happy here. Glad I signed on.
All right, awesome. Yeah, that mostly covers everything I want to know.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you for your time. I'm glad I didn't sign off the Zoom and waited a little.